Welcome to it, F1 Shakedown, the podcast. Wayne Williams, Bart, Murphy, PreRace 2024 Qatar Qatar, whichever way you want to pronounce it. What's up? Just finished watching the sprint qualifying, and that was interesting. Warm-up was kind of funny. Flying out the track, just getting used to the track and cooler temperatures again, which is always fun. Little ice skating going on the F1 circuit. So, Bart, what's going on?
That's a far cry from the sauna that it was last year. Remember Piastri laying down on the ground after the race because he was so exhausted. I think this was the end of Logan Sargent was last year too. So,
yeah, that's true. I remember I was kind of laid into him a little bit on the fact that you should be in your best of shape, and you're being paid a lot of money. You're at the pinnacle of your sport, and you should be able to handle that, especially in your what was he, early 20s?
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I get it. But well, where is he now?
IndyCar. I think he just had an IndyCar. I think he had an IndyCar test yesterday. So he's finally coming back into the fold.
And he may do a lot better in IndyCar, right? Just just different formulas for different drivers, and we do wish him obviously the best of luck. So
yeah, absolutely.
Do his thing. All right.
Absolutely.
So looking forward to this weekend. A lot going on. I do like the sprint weekends.
Yeah.
A lot more going on. They're busy, and a lot of people. I know just some drivers kind of take it or leave it, but from the fans' perspective, it's pretty cool to have a bunch of races.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So what's going on?
Oh, not much. So what did we have? What did we have there? Norris, Russell, Piastri.
Yeah.
Top three there.
Yeah. Hey, let's talk about Norris Well, we'll talk about those two in a second, but because the championship pretty much is over for the driver now, so there won't be any, I can imagine there wouldn't be any team orders at this point.
Right.
Right, let them drive.
Yeah.
And then Russell, just the fact that he's just been out qualifying Hamilton the entire season. Man. But Hamilton tends to do a little bit better in the races. Russell tends to mess up a little bit, and Hamilton's got a little more, a little more finesse on the track, a little more stamina, and just kind of holds his own. Nurses the tires well, less mistakes as mentioned. So we'll see. But in terms of qualifying, you got to give it to the kid, man. You got to give it to Russell. Yeah,
amazing. He might not have any plank left at the end of the weekend, but did you see all the sparks again? The sparks, especially in FP1, there was tons. I think they fixed it a little bit, so that's why those guys were quicker. Hamilton, I think, was 6th or 8th, and he said he was just too slow. But we could see big things from Mercedes again this weekend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm fitting that. So we'll see.
Yeah, we
will see. So, what's going on looking into this weekend here? What you got?
Well, the first thing that I wanted to talk about was the constructors standings. So we got a tight race for between McLaren and Ferrari. There's only 24 points. So really, Wayne, the only way that McLaren can win the championship this weekend is if they finish 1-2 in the race and the sprint and get the fastest lap. They'll have enough points. But the interesting thing is the points scored, and this is from crashf1.net, by the way, great place to hit up in Instagram, the Instagram world. Points scored over the last 4 race weekends. If you look, Ferrari's got 143 and McLaren's got 92. So if I put my math hat on, basically, if this continues for the next 2 races, that means Ferrari will win the championship by 2 points. But we did see Norris and Piastri score better in the sprint. So it's going to be tight right down to the wire. We can pretty much rule out Red Bull. Red Bull's out. They're too far behind. But looking at this stat, if Ferrari continues that way, they will win. But who knows?
Well, I mean, it's going to be a great last couple of races to see who takes the constructors. I do hate it when the drivers' championship gets won so far in advance, but it's nice to see this going down to the wire. So two well-deserved teams that have come a long way this season, so it should be very exciting.
Yeah, and Ferrari hasn't won it since 2008, and McLaren since 1998.
Yeah, well,
that was your boy Hakkinen, I think. Hakkinen and Coulthard.
Big Hakkinen Coulthard fan back in the day. So.
Yeah, and then Hakkinen won in '99, but Ferrari still won the constructors that year. So that's happening. The whole Cadillac thing went down this week, and everybody knows that Cadillac's 11th team on the grid. I just wanted to point out something. Mario Andretti's part of the team. He's the managing director, and he won the championship with Lotus back in 1978. And there was a lot of talk this week about who's going to drive for the team, and also what is the car going to look like. Well, if I can make a suggestion, these are the old Lotus cars. We haven't had Lotus on the grid for 10 years? These are the old Lotus cars from the 1970s and 80s.
I do love that John Player special car.
Isn't it nice?
Talking about like some kind of hybrid look, new versus what it used to look like back then. Because
yeah. So there's a black and gold,
right,
caddy.
Yeah.
So, it would be cool to see something different on the grid other than blue, white, red.
No, that's true.
That's what I love about the McLaren is, the papaya is different. Remember the old Jordan car was all yellow? That was kind of cool. Yeah. So it'd be interesting to see something different. With that, also, Wayne, this guy resigned as a Ferrari or as a Mercedes reserve reserve driver this week. So, and don't you think that's a little strange? There's 2 races left in the season. Yeah. Why would he be? He's going somewhere. Yeah. And he went. I'm sure he went to Mercedes and said, "Look, I'm driving for Cadillac in 26," and they said, "Well, we can either fire you or you can leave now because we don't want you to take any more intel to another team." That's just a speculation, but
yeah.
But you don't resign with 2 races left in the season.
No, that's a statement, right? That's a statement without saying anything. It's kind of like, let me just put it out there, and then people call, and then silly season can continue and all the rumor mill.
Yeah,
but I think they'll probably make an announcement pretty quickly too.
I think so for sure. Really strange though. Michael Andretti, steps down from the board. A week or 2 later, Cadillac is in F1. Ralph Schumacher. We were just talking about Ralph Schumacher off the air. Mick Schumacher resigns, and speculation is he's going to be one of the drivers for the team. So.
I think it's a good choice actually. Wasn't Brian Herta's son there?
Yep.
In it well too.
Yep. Colton Herta is also.
Yeah.
Colton is the name's been thrown around a lot, with the U.S. connection. So I think if you had the 2, Mick does have some experience, and Colton obviously has experience, in North America with IndyCar. So, and like you said, he's got the pedigree with Brian Herta and so forth. Yeah. So interesting stuff.
I love it. A lot going on, right? Especially like right now. It's very interesting that this isn't normally silly season, right? But because just because of the popularity and just how fast F1 is moving, and there's just always something going on, right? It's pretty cool, just in terms of just the movement, right? And new teams coming in like Cadillac, and they're just hopefully, we talked about this a few episodes ago, is that, please F1, don't go too crazy. And because of the popularity of it, and then you oversaturate it, and you start to, things start to backfire, and it gets too big too quickly, and too many teams on the grid. So,
and that happened before in the 70s. So what happened is they brought in the 105% rule. So there was so many cars. I think there was 28 or 30 cars that were entered. So in order to qualify for the race, you had to be within 105% of the pole sitter. You remember that?
Yeah.
And then it was like, well, who's in, who's out? There was a lot of confusion. So I'm with you. 22 teams, 22 races. That's your sweet spot. Stick with it. You don't need to do any more. I'm with you for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, you can move tracks. You can change tracks, right? Some tracks, through attrition, some jump in, some jump off, kind of thing. But leave it at that same number. Yeah, 22.
Yeah. 22 is good. And selfishly, I don't know about you, but I'm really excited to see 22 cars line up on the grid.
Oh, yeah. The only problem for me in a season is these two massive breaks, right? The summer break, and then you could almost call it a fall break as well too. It was 3-4 weeks off as well. Maybe just a bit more of a balance with the overall scheduling. I know that's tough, like logistically, how the teams move in the different races in different parts of the world. So I get that,
right?
But it would just be nice to maybe to shorten the summer break a little bit. I mean, they have the entire, for the most part. Mm-hmm. They test throughout the winter, but you're not telling me that most drivers have a week or two off in the wintertime every other week or so. They're not doing that much, right?
Yeah. I think the only team that would argue with you is Williams, because it gives them time to put their cars back together.
Wow, what a story that is this year, right?
Wow, crazy. So going back to Vegas, I just wanted to, because we had one of our followers on Instagram, Marshall 1F1 sent us this. He was trackside in Vegas, and if you want to get if you've never been to a race and you want to get an idea of how fast these guys are going, here it is. So crazy.
Yeah,
crazy.
I remember that my first race, and just being we were pretty much trackside as well too, and just the shock and awe of watching those cars go by you with 200 miles an hour plus was just incredible, and just how the drivers did it for that long. I've been to ovals, went to Michigan, with the IRL too, and you can get real close. And it is unbelievable. If you haven't been to a race, to your point, there's nothing like it. The sound, just the air pressure, right? You're feeling, right? It's not just about the sound, but the visuals as well too. Like, it's pretty cool. Going back to thinking of our viewers sending us stuff. I just want to say, hey, thanks for tuning in, for listening, for subscribing, following. Because we've seen quite an uptick in followers over the last couple of weeks, and we thank you.
So, thanks everybody for that. Just quickly about that, the speed down the main straight in Vegas. Somebody set a new record this year. Alex Albon hit 369 kilometers an hour down that straight.
No wonder they keep crushing the car.
Can you imagine, though, Wayne, at 369 kilometers an hour?
That's record. It's 230 miles an hour.
Miles an hour.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, in that car. I mean, it's just, so that Mercedes is working right now for sure.
Yeah, but they got to learn to control it, though, right? Because at those speeds, crashes keep coming. I saw this little clip of talking about speed. Is that how F1 drivers, the way that they blink compared to the average person, especially when they're driving, is almost robot-like. They can control their blinking, and their blinking is so much quicker than the average, because I forget the actual numbers. I'll look it up maybe for the next episode, but it was like, the average is like a 1/10 of a second blink, and then what that equates to at speeds like 230 miles an hour, that's a lot of time that you could not be seeing anything, right?
Wow.
So they literally adjust how much they blink, right? And actually, obviously, eye placement is massive. That's part of your training with Formula One, and where you place your eyes down the track and how far they're placed and in movement, with the track and so forth. But the blinking thing was really interesting.
That's really interesting. Is that why Carlos Sainz doesn't blink? Because he's always
maybe.
Have you ever seen interviews with him?
He always thinks he's in race mode, man. He's a method actor, right? He's always the main character.
The man does not blink.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Up to this point, so congratulations again to Max on the fourth World Championship.
Yeah.
This is a great stat. This is one of my favorite stats, I think, from the whole, Max versus Lewis. So after the fourth World Championship, it took Max 207 races. It took Lewis 206. So it's deadlocked. They both have 62 wins up to their fourth World Championship. But look at the polls, Wayne. 72 to 40 pole positions. Lewis versus Max. I mean, that's just it's almost double. It's remarkable that he
right.
That he was that good.
He used to qualifying was amazing for him. He has here I'm going to say it. He has slowed down a touch. It seems like Russell is has been outperforming him in terms of qualifying this year, last couple of years actually. But in the race itself, that's where Hamilton tends to shine. Russell makes a little more mistakes. Hamilton seems to nurse those tires better. He just seems to be a stronger driver overall. But that's a great stat. Yeah, 42.
Yeah,
40 wins to 72. 40 pole to 72.
Yeah, crazy.
Pole, should say.
And Racing News 365, got to thank them for posting that, because that's, like I say, that's a Racing News 365, also obviously on Instagram, and a great account to follow. So, yeah.
Will do. Yeah. All right. So,
is it prediction time?
Is it?
I think it's prediction time. I think that's what that music is.
Okay.
What do we got?
Okay. Yeah, I'm saying Russell. Hamilton. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and the reason I'm sticking with Hamilton is there's a couple of reasons, and maybe it's like, I don't know, nostalgia, Wayne, but he's only got 2 races left with Merck, and I don't know. I think he still feels like he's got something to prove. This is kind of more, thinking with my heart instead of my head, but I'd love to see Hamilton take one of the last 2 races for sure.
Likewise, I'd like to see him at least take at least one of them.
Nice.
I mean, he won one this year, which was great, especially the UK. The British Grand Prix, that was fast. That was fantastic to see.
Yeah, you couldn't have scripted it better.
Yeah, you couldn't have. So at least that's in the bag. So I'm okay with that. But it would be nice to see him win another one for sure.
Yeah. So for the fantasy F1, I'm going all in on Mercedes, and because I can't afford a Ferrari driver, I'm going to put the two Alpine drivers in. Ocon didn't have a great time in quali for the sprint, but Gasly's back in the top 7 or 8. So yeah, so and we're doing okay rank wise. Like overall in the world, we're 5,000th, and we're in the top 500 in Canada. So Yeah, so we're doing okay. Whoops. There we go. Yeah. So
Okay.
we shall see.
Yeah, we shall. Can't wait. We'll see you on the flip side, and yeah, go Mercedes. You know what? I kind of have a suspicion too that Ferrari's going to sneak in there somewhere.
I think so too. I think you're right. Although Norris and Piastri both did well in the qualifying, like we talked about, I don't know, not 100% as far as the race goes. So, Wayne, interesting. Today they just launched the Senna TV series on Netflix. That started today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You tell me about that offline. I didn't even know it was coming, so I'm looking forward to that for sure. I thought it was going to be just another documentary that I've seen many of, but great that they're actually turned it into a actual series with some. I guess they're going to make it look like it was, back in the 80s.
Yeah. Yeah, they're going to do their best to do that for sure. Yeah. So it should be interesting. I don't know if you have a favorite racing movie, but the other thing you might want to check out, and maybe you want to leave these for after the season because you're going to have withdrawals, through December and January. But this is my favorite racing movie of all time.
I'm a big Rush fan. I'm a big Rush fan too.
Yeah. I mean, it was so good. The whole Niki Lauda, James Hunt battle. I mean, it was fantastic. That was almost 10. Yeah, it was over 10 years ago already. Wow, time flies. So
yeah, it was shot well too, directed well.
Yeah. Excellent movie. Yep, for sure.
Ronnie Howard took care of that one.
Yes, he did. Yeah. Yes, he did. My camera keeps moving on me. It has a mind of its own.
It does. Okay, so we'll call it an episode. And again, thanks for the followers. Appreciate it. We'll see you after the race at Qatar 2024. Wayne Williams and Bart Murphy. We're gonna sign off. Get on out of here. Don't forget, happiness isn't around the corner. Happiness is the corner. Peace, bro.